Hello everyone, I'm Nat and I'm very excited to have the pleasure to be able to speak to you today and share some stuff that God's been doing in my life. So as I said, I'm Nat, I'm Stuart's son. I go to university in Falmouth, which is a very long way away, which is why some of you probably haven't met me or don't recognise me. So a little bit of backstory. I go to Falmouth University, which is in Cornwall. And the reason why I went there was because I was trying to decide where to go between a few different universities, and I really felt like God was telling me to go to Falmouth. It was actually one prayer meeting where and God basically gave me an option to go to two different unis, and I chose Falmouth, which I am very pleased about because Cornwall, as some of you may know, is where most people go on holiday. So I've basically lived 2 years on holiday, which is amazing. If any of you get the choice, go to Falmouth Uni. But anyway, so I am at university, which can sometimes be quite difficult because when you're at uni, quite a lot of the time, most of the time actually, you're living away from your parents. And I myself have found that quite difficult at times, or at least before uni I found the idea of that very scary, because going to university, being away from your parents, it's a lot of things to do all at once, but thankfully God has been really gracious to me, and I'm just going to tell you 3 points right now why God has been so amazing in so many ways, but just 3 for the moment. So the first one is God has given me strength. So, as I said, university can be quite difficult because you're away from your parents. That means that they don't cook you food. You've got to do it for yourself, and not only cook the food but buy the food. So I've got to go out and actually get the food myself, which I thought would be quite easy, but it tends to be quite difficult because you've got to walk all the way there and then come back with it, and then every time you want something, you're out of it, so you've got to go shopping again, then you've not got much money. But anyway, that's a different point. But what's amazing is that God has given me the strength to deal with that, the strength to get over the fact that I am on my own. And that doesn't scare me anymore. That's something that I relish in, that I know that I don't have to be scared being on my own. Actually, I'm really excited by it because I know that God is always with me and God is right next to me, and it is so awesome that I can live on my own and be independent and know that I am absolutely fine. So that's what amazing strength God gives me. Number 2, peace. So before coming to uni, I was very anxious, very scared, very worried. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know anything really, because it's a very different place and very different lifestyle. And even in times at university as well, there have been things to be anxious about. There's a lot of work to do. There's, as I said earlier, you've got to have your money to spend and your food to buy, and sometimes you have to fend for yourself because you're living on your own. But what's amazing is that all the way through, up until this point now, God has given me peace. There has always been a sense of peace. All my anxieties and all my anxiousness has just disappeared because God's right next to me. I never have to be worried, and that's amazing. It's so good that I never get scared, I never worry, because I know God is giving me this peace. He walks right next to me, and that's an amazing thing that we have. That's why God is so good, because we know that Jesus, who died for us, he did it because he loves us and because he wants us to have his strength and his peace and not be scared of anything, which is so cool. And that's one of the things that's really stuck with me. So the second one is peace. Amazing things. And the third and final one is he's provided. God provides so much. He is a provider. He gives me food, he gives me clothes, he gives me money to buy the food and clothes. Without God, frankly, I probably wouldn't survive. because he is a provider and he gives me all that I need all the time, and that is so awesome. And yeah, because I don't have my parents to pay for things and to do things for me, I have to do it myself. But because of the strength and the peace that he gives me, he also provides for me and gives those things that I need, and that is so good. And that's just another amazing thing that God does in this time that I'm on my own. So basically, in summary, there's the three things that God does. 1, gives me strength. 2, gives me peace. And 3, provides. And that is what life is like for me, living with God at the moment.